I'm getting ready to make some kettle corn. I've made it quite a few times, but I always have a lot of what I call old maids, unpopped kernels. Well, yesterday I dumped in the oil just like this. Not quite a quarter of a cup, but quite a bit. And then I put it on high till it gets hot. And then I put in a quarter cup of sugar. Got my sugar there. Well, the sugar stuck to the bottom. There wasn't enough oil or whatever, and I thought it was going to burn. So I added a quarter cup of water just to slosh the sugar around so it didn't stick in one place and burn. And it ended up being the best kettle corn I've made. Almost every kernel popped. I probably didn't have 6 kernels that didn't pop. And usually there's 20 or 30. That's a lot. I always think it's a waste of popcorn. But the quarter cup water made a bunch of steam, and that seemed to make the popcorn pop better. So I'm going to try it again today. I'll use half a cup of popcorn. I've got some Jolly Time there. And then I will use a quarter cup of white sugar, and I'll add a quarter cup of water, and we'll see how it turns out. Now once the oil gets hot and the popcorn starts popping, I'll turn my stove down to 8, kind of a medium high. So give me a minute, let's see how this works. Another thing you can do is throw in 2 or 3 kernels of popcorn, and then when it pops, you'll know that it's hot enough, the oil's hot enough, and then you can add your rest of your popcorn, your sugar, and your water. Okay, the kernels started popping, so I put in everything. Again, it's a half a cup of popcorn, quarter cup of sugar, and a quarter cup of water. You can see all that moisture on the lid. This lid doesn't fit perfect because it got dropped and dented, but I'm going to use these hot pad holders. And you're just going to keep shaking it or stirring it, or not stirring it. Keep shaking it back and forth, up and down, whatever you want to do, so it doesn't burn. Also, when it's almost done popping, when it slows down quite a bit, I move it over to here, get it off the heat, and then when it really seems like it's just about done popping, I quickly dump it into this bowl. Otherwise, it'll sit on the bottom and it'll burn. It hasn't started popping a lot yet, just the few kernels I put in before. I kind of think what it does, it'll boil away or steam away all that moisture, and then it'll get hotter, and then it'll start popping. Now yesterday maybe it was just a fluke, but it really worked good and almost everything popped, so that's what I'm hoping happens again today. Now she's starting to pop. We let it pop, just keep shake it back and forth a little bit here and there to make sure it doesn't stick and burn. See how she turns out. Coming along. Popping really good. I turned the heat down to 8. And I'll just keep on watching it, shaking it. It's just about done. Okay, it's done. And this is the bottom of it. You can see there's not very many kernels that didn't pop. If I'd left it on there any longer, it would have started burning. But it turned out really good. Now I like to shake it as it's sitting in the bowl, because you can see it's already set up pretty good, kind of like a popcorn ball. So you're going to kind of shake it around, mix it up with your fingers. Otherwise, it's not a bad thing, but you just end up with one big ball of popcorn. Turned out really good. So if you're going to make some kettle corn, add a little water. Now I used to make 1 cup, use a cup of popcorn, and I didn't want to eat that much and have it sitting around, so I just started using a half a cup. I still use the same amount of sugar, so it's a little sweeter, same amount of oil, but it works out really good, and I don't have hardly any old maids. So, thanks for watching.